Poor girl is hungry. Eating the bark off of the little spring's on its way. She's still pretty young. Oh, sorry. Yeah, she's still fairly young. Not very big yet. I do like to see them on my property. I enjoy watching them. And I also like to see them on my property for keeps them there. That means they're away from the road. Haven't seen much of the moose this winter, so hopefully she'll be a repeat visitor in the future. The only time I don't like to see the moose is when they're getting into my garden. I'm gonna lose track of her here behind the old outhouse. Here's a nice picture of her. Oh, that's not a her, that's a him. That's a little fella. I can see the nubs right above his eye. I'm zoomed in as much as I can. That is a little fella. Very cool. Zoom in too much and it just gets really shaky. I'm close enough to him. I don't want to scare him away, but I'm going to lose him again. I don't have an avenue for more video, but that's pretty cool. Cheers. See if I can do this without making it jar too much. But I was just, that is dirt in the driveway. I could bring an ice chipper out and start chipping the driveway. It wouldn't take very much. Start getting it, because that's all ice everywhere. All ice. Luckily, it's still it warms up and it doesn't get so wet that it just runs water over the top. It's just kind of warming up enough. It leaves a gritty layer on top. It's not just a sheet of ice. So you're still able to drive up and down the driveway. But that's not going to last for very long. But that spot right there is a good indication. This is all the rest of it, just all ice. But that little spot right there is a good indication. That's just going to start growing as long as no more snow falls. That little spot right there is going to grow, and I'll get multiple spots right down the middle. Will go first, and driveway will be open again. I was able to get another little spot right there. It's right in the middle of the driveway. It doesn't get packed down. Tires don't run over it, so it doesn't get packed down nearly as hard there. And then what's happening is the water is melting and running down that. There's a little bit of a gap in between the ground and the ice. And I think right there is another spot. You can just with the heel, and it's just a soft spot. I'll start working on this driveway now. As long as it's warm in the afternoon, I will start working on this driveway at night when I come home from work, and try to get as much ground popping out as possible so that it'll melt and be done. Get the water to run before it's all mud, because look at that. Nice, so nice. That makes me happy too. Boy, I'm just having a good evening tonight. First I see the moose, and then start seeing driveway, start seeing dirt. I forgot what dirt looked like. But I'll be able to, I know that's probably terrible for video, but I'll be able to, I'll get an ice chipper out, and I could get a good chunk done tonight. Let's see what I can do. I'll show you what I got done. Right there in the middle. And that ice on the edge there is about 2.5 inches thick. Right there. On both sides, it's pretty thick still. But right in the middle, it was a little bit thinner. And it had that air gap underneath, so I was able to chip that much off. And then it just gets frozen solid to the ground right about there. So, but now I let this sit tomorrow, and if there's any sun at all, it'll heat this ground up, and I'll be able to come and chip along the edges of this whole thing. Possibly even chip farther down and farther up, but I'll be able to get around the whole thing. Probably 6 or 8 inches usually. Depends upon how strong the sun is. If the sun is really strong, I'll be able to get a foot, maybe even 1.5 feet, which gets me almost, if I go both directions, that gets me almost all the way across the driveway in this one area, and it'll just grow from there. And that's what I love to see. And there's something so satisfying for me when I am chipping the ice. For some reason, I love to do it. Maybe it's because it gets me excited for spring, and winter is almost over. But it is so satisfying to start doing this. Just as long as we don't get another snow dump. And if it snows, it isn't going to stick around. Especially if the ground is showing, it'll melt off really quick. The problem with if it snows anymore, it just adds more moisture, more water to the bottom of the driveway, the road down there, and it just gets a really soupy, muddy mess. And I hope to avoid that this year. But it all just depends upon how strong the sun is and how fast it melts away, is how much mud we get. Let's go up and see if we can get one more picture of the moose really quick. He might have wandered off too far. Let's see. He didn't get too far away. It's right there in amongst the trees. And you can't really tell it until you see him from the side that he has little nubs where his horns are going to grow. He's definitely a cute little fella. I think I will name him George. I will love him and pet him and call him George. I don't want to move around too much because I don't want to scare him away. It's kind of blocked by the trees. I'm going to call that a night. Thank you for watching this edition of Not So Remote Alaska. And until next time, may God bless and keep each and every one of you. And with that, I'm out.